Hi, this is Jake for BandLab. Did you know that you can add swing to your music in BandLab? In this video, we'll show you how to add swing both by turning off BandLab's snap to grid function and by using 30-second note quantization. You can open this project yourself with the link in the video description, and if you find this guide useful, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be the first to know when new videos drop. Swing is a big part of what gives music its groove, and without it, musical styles such as hip-hop and house would feel very different. Swing usually means having 8th or 16th notes of different lengths, which gives music a shuffling, head-nodding effect. Let's see how we can achieve this in BandLab. Let's start by making a hip-hop beat. In BandLab, I set the project tempo to 95 BPM. Then add a virtual instrument track and set it to drum pads, boom bap classic. I'm going to program in a basic hip-hop beat with claps on the 2nd and 4th beat, kicks on the 1st and 6/8 notes, and closed hats on every 8th note. This gives us a basic hip-hop beat with no swing, and it sounds okay, but not particularly funky. Let's add some swung drum hits to give it more of a groove. I want to add some hits with 16th note swing, which means that notes on even numbered 16th notes are going to play later than they would if they were perfectly on the grid. So I'm going to turn BandLab's snap to grid function off by clicking the magnet icon and add a kick roughly halfway between the 12th and 13th 16th notes. This gives this kick more of a bouncy feel than it would have otherwise. If I turn snap to grid back on and move the kick onto the grid, we get a different feel. It doesn't have that classic hip-hop groove, so I'll move the kick back to where it was. I'm also going to add a swung close tap before the end of the bar. I turn snap to grid back on and duplicate the pattern out to fill the 4-bar clip. To duplicate notes or MIDI clips in BandLab, hold Option on Mac or Alt on Windows and drag them over. Now we have a hip-hop beat with 16th note swing. Generally, you want to have a similar swing on all your elements in the project so they feel like they're playing the same rhythm. But in hip-hop, there aren't typically a lot of 16th note elements, so we can make a complete musical idea without having to worry about swing when adding other elements. Let's add some music and a bass line now, and see how they fit without requiring any changes. I set the drum track to -3 dB to give me headroom in the mix to add other elements. I open BandLab Sounds, click the Loops tab, and enter Boom Bap into the text search field. I drag Boom Bap Sample 02 into the project. And turn the track down to -3 dB. This sample's chords generally play on the bar, with half notes between bars 3 and 4, and bars 4 and 5, so there are no 16th notes happening here, and the sample works rhythmically with that swung beat. Now let's make a bass line. I add a virtual instrument track, setting it to synth basses, sine bass. I set this track to -6 dB. I program in a bass line that plays E, A, B, and D. Again, there's nothing here faster than a half note, so it sounds great with the swung beat. Let's say you want to add an element that plays 16th notes, and you want those to fit rhythmically with the swung beats. In that case, it makes sense to use an alternative way to swing things. BandLab has the ability to quantize to 32nd notes, and we can use this to snap hits to exactly between 16th notes. To achieve this, I set View, Grid Size to 32nd notes. Now I can snap the swung notes to the 32nd note grid. This makes it easier to add new parts with exactly the same rhythm. I add another virtual instrument track, and this time I leave it with the default grand piano instrument. I set this track to -6 dB. I program in a pattern that plays E and D notes. Here's how it sounds with straight 16th notes. This doesn't fit with the rhythm of the drums. However, if I move the notes on even numbered 16ths over to the 32nd notes, it fits with the drum beat. Remember, you can fork this project and make your own version of it using the link in the video description. Have fun!